Hello everyone, my name is Chinwe Russell and today I will be speaking about Mexican muralism movement, which is a movement that started in the 1920s. This video is part of the Doncaster Art Movement project, a project in which we talk about various art movements and how they have marked the history of art. We've done quite a few of them so far. We've done about 20. The reason why we're doing this is because we want you to understand a little bit more about art, so that when there are art exhibitions or cultural events, you can participate without feeling that you don't know a lot. These videos are for everyone to help you to understand a little bit more about art. What is a Mexican muralism movement? This basically is a movement which had to do with murals, and by murals we mean paintings on the walls. So muralism is a promotion of mural paintings, so paintings of walls. I've done a few of them. A few mural paintings myself. The Mexican muralism movement started in the 1920s with social and political messages as part of the efforts to reunify the country under the post-Mexican Revolution. Revolution government. And then from about 1920s to about 1970s, many muralists, the artists who painted murals, their work was quite nationalistic, and they had a lot of social and political messages, and they were created on public buildings, which started a tradition which continues to this day in Mexico and has had impact in other parts of the world, including the Americas. This muralism movement was headed by three major painters. You had Diego Rivera, you have Jose Clemente Orozco, and David Alfaro Siqueiros. I'm not very good with the names. They were called the three great ones. They believed that art was the highest form of human expression and a key force in social revolution. So they had quite lofty ideals. Their work defined the movement of muralism and created a mythology around the Mexican Revolution and the Mexican people, which is still influential to this day. At the time the works were painted, they also served as a release of emotional tension over what the country had endured during the war. However, the three artists were different in their artistic expression. Rivera's works were utopian and idealistic. Orozco's work were critical and pessimistic, and the most radical were the works of Siqueiros, which focus heavily on scientific future. The differences among the three artists have much to do with how each of the artists experienced the Mexican Revolution. Rivera was in Europe during the Revolution and had never experienced the horrors of the war. Because of this, his art primarily focused on what he perceived to be the social benefits from the war. So Orozco and Siqueiros both fought in the war. So you can imagine their perspective was different, and this subsequently resulted in a more pessimistic approach to their work when depicting the revolution. Of the three artists, Diego Rivera was the most traditional in terms of his painting styles, drawing heavily from European modernism. His themes were Mexican, often scenes of everyday life and images of ancient Mexico. He originally painted this in bright colors in the European style, but he modified it to more earthy tones to imitate indigenous murals. His greatest contribution is the promotion of Mexico's indigenous past into how many people, both inside and outside of the country, view it. Jose Clemente Orozco also began with a European style of expression. However, his art developed into an angry denunciation of oppression, especially by those he considered to be an evil and brutal class. His work was somber and dire, with emphasis on human suffering and fear of the technology of the future. Orozco's works show an expressionist use of color, slashing lines and parodic distortions of the human figure. You could see that there's something inside of him wanting something really strong, wanting to come out through his work. David Alfaro Siqueira was the youngest, and he was the most radical of these three artists. He joined the army when he was 18 and experienced the revolution from the front lines. So he can imagine what he painted were quite visceral. Siqueira was the most dedicated, and his work is also characterized with rapid, sweeping, bold lines and the use of modern enamels, machinery, and other elements related to technology. His style showed a futuristic blurring of form and technique. His fascination with technology as it relates to art was exemplified when he emphasized the mass communications, visual technology of photograph and motion picture in his eventual movement towards neorealism. Neorealism, also known as structural realism, is a theory of international relations which says that power is the most important factor in international relations. Okay, that needs that again is a whole new topic on its own. His radical politics made him unwelcome in Mexico and the United States, so he did most of his work in South America. However, his masterpiece is considered to be the Polyform Cultural Siqueiros, which is located in Mexico City. Mexican artists up to these days still produce murals and other forms of art with the same message. Murals can be found on government buildings, former churches and schools in nearly every part of the country. Mexican muralism brought mural painting back to the forefront of Western art, promoting the idea of mural painting as a form of expressing social and political ideas. So mural painting is something that is quite strong in Mexico today, and the movement has sort of spread to the rest of the region. So this is sort of a brief introduction to Mexican muralism, and I encourage you to read up a little bit more about this fascinating subject, and most importantly, search the internet. You'll see lots of wonderful examples of Mexican muralism painting. And why not try some yourself? We all have walls at home. You could try and depict perhaps what is happening in the UK today. Depict that on a painting on a wall in your home. I hope this video has been of use to you. This project is sponsored by the Doncaster Council Fighting Back Fund, and we hope to see you very soon. Thank you. This is Chinwe Russell.